Um, hold on just a second. Man, I could just let you guys watch that whole thing, but we got to get started with class. So, yeah, sorry about that. But my voice is not working. Just a second. I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, that's America's Funniest Home Videos. I was just sharing with you. I just thought I would give you a good start to your day. How was outing day yesterday? Did anybody go somewhere cool? Yeah, me too. I love AFE. Let me see. Jacob, I thought I was supposed to meet you at outing day yesterday. I didn't find you. Oh, I'm sad you guys didn't go anywhere. I'm sorry. Oh, I shared the information. No, I was at Steed's Dairy in Augusta. Oh, there were a lot of people with double strollers, not even gonna lie. You should have said, hey, Jacob. I was there. I would have loved to have met you. Okay, so here's the plan for today. And actually, I want to talk to you guys about something before we really get good and started. So a lot of you guys have been talking to me about quiz retakes. So this is important. I want you to listen. Can everybody give me a green check if you're listening? Because I don't want to answer a million emails about the same thing over and over and over. Okay, here's the thing. Quizzes get one take unless you meet with me. I will give you an extra assignment. You have to turn in the assignment and then you get an extra attempt. So it's quite a process, which is to say, I mean, I'm willing to do that if you guys would like a second attempt, but needless to say, it's a long process to get that done. So the better idea, it's not my policy. It's not, okay? It's the new GCI thing that they're implementing. We got an email explaining to us that that's the way we have to do it, okay? And actually, I think it's a great plan because other than the fact that it puts like extra work on both you and me, it gives you the motivation to do well the first time, right? Because when you get to college and stuff like that, they're not going to give you a second attempt on the quiz. A lot of times, some teachers do. But you need to get it right the first time, okay? So that's the thing. So for example, the courts quiz that you just took recently, if you want a second attempt, that's fine, but you need to email me. I have an assignment for you. I can email it to you. Then I have to check to make sure you completed the assignment. Then I will manually open an assignment for you to take the second attempt. Does that make sense? Everybody good on that? And I see that some people weren't listening. So Brandy, Asia, Cameron, Casey, Haley, Jessica, Kat, Mackenzie, Rachel, Tyler, do we all understand the new quiz retake policy? You have to email me for the second assignment. I email that back to you. You make it like you do well on the assignment, and then I open a second attempt. You know, if you make an 80 or 90 on a quiz, that's a good question. Okay, I'll say this. If you're like one of those people that just want to get your extra 10 points on a quiz, if you make better than an 85, and I'll write that down so I remember, if you make better than an 85 the first attempt, I will give you a free second attempt because that shows to me that you know the material, you just want the extra points, right? Okay, So if you make better than an 85, no extra assignment needed, just email me because I have to manually open that second attempt. But if you don't do as well as an 85, I need to give you an extra assignment to do before you can do a retake. Yes. Yep. And you have to do well on the assignment. So likely it's going to be like a quizzes assignment, but you're going to have to get like an 89% on the quizzes or higher. Oh, thanks. I think one of my brothers gave me this. Yeah, thanks. Okay. So let's get started with today. So our plan for today is this. We're going to do some review for IA1. I know our PowerPoint didn't work so well the other day because of those technical issues. So I'm going to kind of just go through it again and have you ask me if you have any particular questions. We won't spend like so much time going over it like we did the other day. But also I found a way for us to use that video that I wanted you all to see, so I can share that on here. And then at the end, I'm going to give you time to do exam 1. Now let me clear your feedback. Give me a thumbs up if you've already taken exam 1 and a thumbs down if you still need to take it. Which is totally fine if you still need to take it. I just want to know. Okay, so kind of 50-50 so far. All right, so we're going to have time to take that test at the end. Some of you aren't answering too, but and that's how we'll do today. And I have a quizzes for us to do. Oh, it's in the bottom left-hand corner. There's like all those different buttons. One of them is a thumbs up. You see it, Cameron? Okay, good. All right, so this week your exam is due today, and your study resources for that are your IA1 study guide, and also your Quartz Quizlet that I gave you the other day. I'll share that link again, and then the quizzes that we're going to do today. I also put this PowerPoint on Canvas for you, so you have access to that if you would like to review this PowerPoint before you take the exam. But if you did well on the IA1, you're going to do well on this, okay? The only thing extra on it is our Quartz lesson that we've done since the IA, okay? And speaking of the IA, let me address the instructional levels. So that email went out, I think, Tuesday, right? So I know some of you were confused or disappointed by your instructional levels, and the thing is that the category that was the most confusing for people is if I put you in the basic level, but you have a good grade in my class. So let me explain that, okay? If you have like an A in my class, but you didn't take the interim assessment, I put you in that level because I don't really know your comprehension of the material, okay? I don't really know, are you just good at turning in assignments, or do you actually understand what you're learning? So the good news is that we have another IA coming up in October. So instructional levels will be reassessed at that time. Just make sure you take your interim assessment and do well on it if you would like to earn flexibility. The bad news is I can't change it right now, okay? I can't move you at this point. You can't make up the interim assessment. You can't, but it's kind of good, right? Because you get another opportunity to move. So if you're in the instructional level that you don't want to be in, at this point it's too late. I can't move you. But you can get moved after October, okay? Everybody good on that? Any questions about instructional level? And of course, you know, if you are proficient or advanced, you don't have to be here. But if you're basic or below basic, it doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean I think you're dumb. It just means I either don't have enough data to put you in a higher level, or I just want to help you get some more resources to turn in the work that you're missing and stuff like that. Okay? Good. Yes, that's true. You can be here if you're proficient or advanced because it's good to get the material. Okay. All right. Just one more thing about Jigsaw. I really made sure this weekend that if you are supposed to be in my class, you're on the list that allows you to be in here. If you happen to have any technical issues, especially if you're just watching this recording because you couldn't get into class, please email me and I will help you figure it out. It's probably something to do with your email address, but we can work on that. Okay. Was everybody able to access the recording for the other day, or did anybody try to access? Yes, it is, Rachel. Okay, good. Good. So remember, one more time, I just want to remind you, if you need to get credit for coming to class, you have to click the Watch Now button and not the download for it to record that you watched the recording. Okay? That will let us know that you actually watched it. If you hit download, that's fine, but you need to watch it through Watch Now because that's the only way we know that you watched the recording. All right, now let's get down to the nitty-gritty, okay? To quote the famous Nacho Libre. All right, so we went over this the other day. Does anybody have any questions about the judge determining who is an expert witness or determining admissibility of evidence in the court? So the judge is sort of like this gatekeeper of who is qualified to be an expert witness, who is qualified to allow evidence in the court. They look at credentials, they look at information, they look at research and say you are or are not qualified to be an expert witness, or you are or are not qualified to have this evidence in court, if that makes sense. Okay, no questions, moving on. And we talked about this O.J. Simpson trial the other day, so I don't really want to go over that again. Did anybody have any questions about these influential figures in forensics or their contributions? Do we understand each one of these figures? And I'll show you which ones they match up to, because we did this the other day, but I just want to address any issues since we weren't able to have this PowerPoint in class. Probably the two most confusing are Henry Fuld and Francis Galton, because they both contribute to the Henry classification system. Francis Galton is the father of fingerprinting, so that's why he's important in this particular classification system. And then Alphonse Bertillon is the father of anthropometry. I wrote it on this slide, which anthropometry is the precursor to biometrics. So you could say he's the father of biometrics, or you could say father of anthropometry. All right, let me share this link with you since we did this the other day, but I wasn't able to share this link. So I know you have this, a lot of you have already gone here, but if you want to use this as a study resource when we get to studying here in a little bit before we take the exam, you can use that to practice. Does anybody have any questions about the differences between forensic pathologists, medical examiners, and coroners? I'm going to allow for an awkward silence here. Okay, we're good on that. All right. Okay, don't do anything. I'm going to do an instant poll. We're going to get real high tech here. I want to see if you can do this. Oops, I did something wrong. I should know better than to go high tech, right? I can do it. Okay. All right, go for it. Answer. Oh, don't cheat. Don't tell us the answer. All right. Go ahead and respond to that poll that I sent out to you. We got some mixed data here. Make sure you're really paying attention. Really think it through. Good news is the majority have the right answer, but it's not a majority by much. Okay. Answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah, actually, we still kind of do that, Tegan, and we'll talk about that when we do our ballistics lesson. So yeah, it's cool that you know that. All right. So the good news is that most of you got it right. It is the exploded sketch. Okay. It is not the floor sketch. It is not the elevation sketch. The one that we always get confused with this is perspective sketch. So what I'm going to do, especially if you got the answer right, is I'm going to give you the opportunity to help us to understand. So you can either, those of you that got it right especially, draw one of the types of sketches on the board and label what it is. Just a very basic, like here, I'll do the first one. That's floor plan. There it is. It's a bird's eye view. You're looking down over the top of the room. You know, you have your little piece of evidence in the room. You have a couch in the room. Okay, that's floor plan. All right. Can somebody either get on the mic to explain, draw it on the board, or type it in the chat what an exploded sketch is? What is an exploded sketch? That's okay, Noah. That's why we do these things, so we can clear that up. Okay, I don't want to get confused with the floor plan sketch, Brandy, because you're close. Sketch which has both. Yes, Jeremiah, absolutely. Okay. Yes. Okay. So the exploded sketch is just like the floor plan sketch, except for it also includes the walls. Okay. So it's going to look more like, this. Okay. And maybe you have a little door here and you have some windows here. Okay. That's boom. That is an exploded sketch. So don't get these two confused because a floor plan sketch is different than an exploded sketch, okay? Floor plan, exploded, okay? The reason this one's better for something with bullet holes in the walls is because, hey, we got walls, okay? So if we had ballistics information, oh, that didn't show up very well. If we had ballistics information in the walls, you would think that would continue to show up, but it doesn't. Then, let's do this. Those are big bullet holes, right? But those would be like where someone shot the wall, and then you could see it. That's a cannon hole, okay? You could see it in the wall, okay? What is an elevation sketch? Elevation sketch. Let me label these. Yes, there we go, Kayla. Good. So this is exploded view. Okay, So let's look at our elevation sketch. An elevation sketch is going to look like this. Okay, you might have, yeah, a lot of times we do this because we have a slope. Okay, and let's say there's a tree here, little happy tree. If you watch Bob Ross, I'm drawing a little happy tree, and maybe there's some water down here. I'm such an artist, okay? And then maybe we have some evidence here on the hill or something like that, okay? Oh, I got carried away. All right. Now, it's a crazy happy tree. Okay, so this would be an elevation sketch. All right. Last one, perspective sketch. What is a perspective sketch? Yes, very good. And this one, unfortunately, I can't really draw on the board. Maybe I'll do my best. Okay, here we go. You ready for my perspective sketch? This would be my perspective sketch, okay? We've got a... This is horrible. Sorry. Okay, this is my little car here. Let's decorate it. There's a car. All right. Use your imagination, okay? That's a car. And we have ballistics information or something like that on the car, okay? That is sort of, not really, a good example of a perspective sketch, okay? Now, again, this one should be artistically involved. You should really be able to tell it's a car. It's going to look like a car or a weapon or a window or a locker or a bank vault, okay? Yeah, there we go. It's an RV with a satellite dish on top, okay? So a perspective sketch is the most artistically involved. It is not at all like the floor plan or the exploded view, okay? And that's why the exploded view is the best for something with information on the walls, because we can clearly see the room, we can clearly see where the walls are, we can clearly see the information in the walls. Now, I understand why you would think maybe perspective because we're giving detail, but this one has to be the one for information in the walls because it includes walls, okay? Do we feel more comfortable about those 4 types of sketches? Any questions about those? Okay, good. All right, we will move on then. All right, we talked about fingerprints, specifically whorl fingerprints are used to classify fingerprints. The way I kind of remember these is like, this is like looping in from the side. If you think about like a roller coaster almost, it's like a loop. Maybe that's not the best analogy, but it loops in from the side, like a loop in a shoelace. There we go. It looks like a loop in a shoelace, okay? An arch literally has an arch on it. See, there it is. And then a whorl, I always remember like a whirlpool, okay? It's twisty, it's like circular, okay? Like a whirlpool. So go ahead and I'm going to copy these to the whiteboard. Go ahead and match these 3 types to the proper description on the whiteboard. There we go, arches. That one's easy. Loops, and whorls. Great job, thank you so much. All right, and remember, which one is the one that we use in the Henry classification system? We are looking for the presence or the absence of a whorl fingerprint. Good. All right, there it is. Okay, now I can share with you that video that we tried to watch the other day in class, but we were unable to. So let me share that video with you now. Andrew's trash, you mean? You talking about Andrew's trash in there? Do you see all those Starbucks cups? No wonder he's broke and gaining weight with all that Starbucks. Y'all are cracking me up. Yeah, so anyways, those are at least have them sign a form first. Yeah, I mean, they do. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. For real though, when someone commits a murder, sometimes they do these countermeasures, right? They would possibly remove the finger pads to remove fingerprints, or mess up the teeth to prevent dental record matching. But that's a little bit getting ahead of ourselves, but you're right. They sometimes do those things to prevent us from identifying a body. okay? Or, you know, they wear gloves so that we can't get fingerprints from them. But so these examples in the movies, they are, some of them are just sci-fi, right? We don't use all of these types of biometrics, but the point is that biometrics is a measure of individual characteristics that can be used to match to one specific person in order to create sort of a form of ID. And remember, we talked about Alphonse Bertillon was the father of anthropometry. So way a long time ago, Alphonse Bertillon started doing things like measuring the length of someone's skull, or the length of their left foot, or something like that. Something that would be unique to them, or a combination of those at least that would be unique to them, okay? And that was kind of where we started out way long time ago, before we started doing things like retina scans and fingerprint scans and blood typing and DNA matching and all this kind of stuff, okay? So if you wanted to take a second look at that website that we looked at the other day, there's that link in the chat. It talks about some of those, like which ones are more sci-fi and which ones we actually have in place nowadays. Okay, so you can take a look at that website if you wanted to. I gave you some time to look at it the other day, so we won't go over that again. But yeah, so biometrics is a measure, a measure of bio, something to do with a person's body or speech or the way they live that can match us uniquely to them, okay? So speech patterns, walking patterns, handwriting patterns, DNA, blood typing, retina scans. Now, blood typing, let me be specific about that. If you just did a blood type, it wouldn't lead you to a single person, but it can narrow down because lots of people have like O positive, O negative. But you could get specific information about that person from their blood to match it specifically to them, like DNA. Am I missing anything? I think we've talked about a lot of the different ways you can use biometrics. And we use it every day with our phones, right? Face ID, fingerprinting, all those are examples of biometrics. All right, and we went to this website the other day. Let me share this link with you just in case you want to use this for a review. Okay, there's that link. All right, so give me just a second. Don't give me the answer. There's got to be a better way for me to do these, but I'll figure it out. Okay, answer that poll for me. Let's see how we do. All right, make sure you're encompassing everybody responsible for the fingerprinting system, because we're making the same mistake here that we made on the interim assessment. Yeah, you know, and I can do that, but it doesn't give me this neat little pie chart if we do it that way. So maybe there's a way that I can create it for all my classes ahead of time or something like that. I'm not sure. Okay, answer in 10, 9, 8, 7. I only have 8 responses. 6, It won't tell me who you are if you get it wrong, by the way. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Good. We got some more responses. All right. So, well, let's clear this up a little bit. Oh, man. So, oh, no. Okay. We can do this. Oh, sorry about that. So we didn't really get the right answer here in the majority. This is the right answer. Pay attention. Look at this, okay? Yeah, and I did that the other day, and somebody was like, we can't see the answers. We can't see the answers. So I don't know. You can't see this on the screen? Okay, scroll down. Can you scroll down on the whiteboard? Let me do this. Okay. The correct answer is Henry Folds and Francis Galton, okay? Who is Francis Galton? He's the father of what? Francis Galton is the father of, nope, not ballistics, that's Goddard. Goddard is the father of ballistics. Remember, ballistics has to do with bullets. Galton is the father of fingerprinting. There we go. And that's why he's also partially responsible for the Henry classification system, okay? So if you don't include him, your answer will not be right, okay? It's Henry Folds and Francis Galton, okay? All right, and I'm going to hurry here so that you guys can have some time to test. Okay, we'll try some things. All right, what is CODIS? What is it? It's the database for what? DNA, that's right. Okay, and I shared this link with you the other day. We looked at it. It's the database for DNA specifically. And that website told us how they match it up and all that good stuff. Let's quickly review, and I'll come back to that slide. Let's quickly review over the process of DNA, okay? Let me do this. Okay, quickly about DNA, all right? We get a DNA sample from someone, okay? Then it goes through this process called DNA amplification. We amplify the sample, we multiply it, and that is through a process called PCR, or polymerase chain reaction. And we went through the steps of that the other day, but that is where we run it through a reaction that magnifies the sample. It makes copies and copies and copies of the same type of DNA sample so that it's big enough for us to test it, okay? Oops, what's happening? I don't know what's happening. Okay, that's where we amplify the DNA sample. It's through PCR or polymerase chain reaction, okay? And then we run it through gel electrophoresis. And then, who is drawing circles on the board? You stop that. And then we run it through an STR. That's okay. Or, well, actually, gel electrophoresis gives us short tandem repeats, or STRs. That's okay. Which give us our ability to match them through CODIS, okay? But the important thing that you need to know is that the polymerase chain reaction is what amplifies the sample of DNA. PCR, polymerase chain reaction, amplifies the sample of DNA. Does everybody understand that? All right. Difference between Fry standard and Daubert standard? What's the difference? Y'all should know this by now. Fry standard is says that whatever is accepted by the blank scientific community, yes. And Daubert says the judge is the gatekeeper. Okay, the judge is the gatekeeper of what is admissible into court. Very good. All right, I'm trying to move a little bit faster so we have some time. Okay. All right, so here's the deal. I have a quizzes for us. We're running out of time to take the test, but I mean, you can take it anytime today. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share with you. Is this the one that I want to share? Where's my homework thing? Nope, that's not the one I want to share. Ah. There it is. Okay. I'm going to share with you this quizzes, and we're not going to play it together in class, okay? I know we normally do, but the reason why I'm going to do it this way is because I want you to be able to use this multiple times to practice. How do I share this thing? Okay, so I thought I had this. Hold on, give me a second. It's not working the way I thought it was going to work. I want you to be able to use this as a review tool, okay? And then for those of you that are ready to take the test, I want you to have the last few minutes of class to do that, okay? So let me share this with you. If I can figure out how to share this, I will do that, but I can't figure out the link. There it is. Okay. Nope. Nope, that's not it. What just happened? I don't know what's happening. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get this. Okay. I figured it out. I really did. You're going to go to join.quizzes.com. So let me type that in the chat. Join.quizzes.com. And you're going to enter this code. And that will let you do it as, it will call it like a homework attempt. But that way I know that you are working on it and can see if you really tried on that. And then you can take your exam. Now, I would recommend using this quizzes before you take the exam because it's really, really helpful, okay? But then as soon as you're done with that quizzes, you can access the exam, clicking the link that you can see up here on the screen. It's in your modules. It's called Exam 1. And you just click right on it and it'll let you take the test, okay? So that is all I have for you today. I'm going to stop both of our recordings here. Let's see. Stop.